Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me? I'd buy...
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances. Finesse a nigga with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this. Parmesan with my accountant lips. In fact, I'm down in this. You say with my boo babe tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westie world.
Underground.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Custom Underground Podcast. I am Mortis. That is Pentagon.
That is the
and
Mad
that
Reaper.
is Creature Will, a.k.a. the Hall of Fame Pack.
Yeah, so we decided
How are you
we'd
today?
try something cool this week, and that would be doing the entire show via communication via a vessel, which in this instance is an action figure. My arm's getting really tired, but not only that, it's shaking, causing a Blair Witch-like function to anyone poor enough to watch my side of the screen. Don't watch it, because you'll probably get a seizure. Look at Pat's. It looks like he's like the last. He's like, where's the witch? All right, no, for seriousness though. Mad Reaper here. Custom Underground. I rearranged my office so you can see it because I'm moving, so I have to clean it up, you know. But we got Creature Will here on the show today. Huge friend of ours from last time. We had a long conversation last time. And today we're wanting to pretty much kind of lead into the discussions from this season, and then maybe do a little pre-show stuff for the round next week. But before we got into that, I had realized, and we talked about it earlier this week, that we haven't really formally announced the prize yet, and that was so. Like, that was in our minds, like, a given, but we never, like, kind of formally said something. So, what it was last year was actually $150, which was supposed to be a Ringside collectibles gift card. Ringside doesn't do gift cards, so it ended up being a cash prize. So, what happened was Showstopper at some point was like, hey, I'll add in $50 too. And then we had an anonymous donor via Instagram, who is a customer from a couple customizers that were competing that wanted to donate $100. So we ended up with a pot of $300. And Rocket Jabroni won. Money got sent his way, but he made sure to tell me to keep aside $50 for this starting pot. So we're going to do the exact same thing again right now, though. That means our pot is up at $200 for the grand prize winner. So whoever wins, not only will you get the trophy and the bragging rights and everything that comes along with being our second season champion, you get $200 right now, you know, and it might increase, but it definitely won't decrease. So that's some pretty good money. That's an expensive custom. So I'm stoked.
So basically, you can use your money and buy one of the many collectible, wonderful figures that the Mad Reaper does. I'm just saying.
Or, you know, if you wanted a basic, I could probably do 2 of them for that.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Better charge cheap.
So, Creature Will, how are you? How have you
Doing
been?
well. Say what?
What did you have for
How
dinner?
have you been?
Oh, I've been good. I had steak at Ruby Tuesdays for dinner.
Man.
Nice.
I want a steak.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with good steak.
No, it's one of the better ones I've done. I don't much care for the place, but they had a good special, so.
You're like, Thursday night, we're going to steak.
Exactly. I got the day off tomorrow, so.
Oh, wow.
Again? You just
Spring
got a
break.
day off.
Spring break started tomorrow. Had a snow day yesterday. So it was just kind of lucky.
You're
So,
a slacker.
For all those new to the program, this is Creature Will. He's a customizer, but he is also an art teacher. So he is our last episode. You need to go back and watch it because there's a lot of knowledge in here. But just as diverse as his background, Will worked on 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 figures, right? Like G.I. Joe scale figures.
Yeah,
and
118.
yeah, and then was coming into wrestling. But even then, a lot of figures that you've done since last tournament to this one, I've seen a huge improvement. I'm like super stoked because it's like you're really coming into your own style, which I'm digging because I'm a fan.
Thanks.
But so talk about your journey since last conversation.
Thanks.
I'm bad at compliments. I've never been good at taking them. I don't know why. I'm just like, no, I'm not that good. Come on, stop talking.
You really are, though. I mean, I think what I've seen, and it's always crazy because I see the work in progress pictures, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I see a lot of like the push and pull type of method where you like paint over an area and then come back and cut it to clean shape because that's what I do.
Sometimes. With the Tiger Dragon that you just showed there, I actually sculpted everything before I painted it.
Nice.
Just because it was going to drive me crazy if I tried to do it one little bit at a time.
Lines afterwards? Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that made it a little easier is I did the main mask and green stuff, and then I switched over to, let's see, where's the tube? Procreate.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love me Procreate.
It's nice. It's flexible. It's good.
Yeah, it's really flexible. That's a new type of packaging. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah,
I shipped this figure because
right.
He's working on one for me.
Yes. Punisher one, I believe it was.
Punisher, Finn Balor, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And fingers that move.
Oh, yeah. And then I got that bag of hands I've got to do for you. Luckily, it's spring break, so I should have some time to actually do everything.
You know, you're good.
Spring break.
Work.
Yeah, I know, me too. I got to work on my boat club next, but they can wait. I was like thinking like I'll do the whole figures and get them packaged up and like have them sign up during like WrestleMania weekend, but then I'm like, I'm not gonna be carrying around 5 figures in my backpack or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Me and my brother have already booked our rooms for All In.
Oh,
We've just got to buy the tickets now.
Yeah, I want to do that too. I just seen Phoenix announce that he's in there too, so I'm sure Penta will be too.
Yeah, I saw Phoenix's announcement while I was eating dinner. I was thumbing through Twitter. I was like, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Waiting for the next put up ticket prices.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I remember one of the like big rumors for like the matchup that everyone wanted, or like that Cody supposedly wanted, was like him versus Daniel Bryan. But now, like that's off the table because Daniel Bryan will stay, I'm sure.
Yeah, since he got cleared. What was it? Earlier this week, late last week, something like that.
Yeah, earlier this week.
Yeah,
crazy. Mm-hmm. But so now it's like, who's going to be the main event at that point? You know,
I'm sure it'll still be some sort of culmination Cody and Kenny type of fight.
Yeah,
is my opinion, because me and a buddy started talking about it when all the drama first started going, and we were like, and my theory was, this is the way it's going to work out. They're going to feud. It's going to give Kenny the ability to, turn full face, and then they're just going to diverge. The Elite's going to become the face faction, and then Bullet Club's going to stay heel with Cody at the reins. And then the Young Bucks are going to split off because they're a lot more face than anything.
Yeah.
Because they're too fun-loving. And all the hard-nosed heels are going to stay Bullet Club. So you're going to keep your Hangman Page and your Cody. It'll bring Fale and the Gorillas of Destiny back into the fold, because they've kind of been off on the outskirts since they're full grungy heel as opposed to, having that. So that's what I was thinking. And then, that just leaves out of, the villain. So I'm just like, what are they going to do with him? He's the only outlier to the theory.
Yeah.
Go either way.
He might be world champion for Ring of Honor here. I don't know. I'm going to that show, so I'm super stoked.
That'll be pretty sweet. Only show I've made it to was back in November going to Starrcade.
Oh, man. But now at least they've heard, like, you know, fans concerned about that not being televised or recorded. So now that big Royal Rumble, the largest Royal Rumble, will be recorded as. The rumor is that it's a network special, so that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be a network special, but then when we got there, they're like, no, it's more or less a glorified house show, and we're like, oh, boo.
It's like a really sweet house show. I mean, it's great for you guys, bad for everyone else.
Yeah, it was super good. It was the only benefit of like being from North Carolina, so I was down for Thanksgiving visiting the family, and then me and my brother bought tickets for it, and then went.
That's sweet.
It was great.
How did Goldust wrestle? Was he as...
Came out... I've got pictures of it I'll share on Instagram of what he came out. He came out in Goldust robe with like the hood up, and then it started the Goldust music, and then he flung the hood off, switched to the natural, and he was dressed in the natural gear.
That's cool.
And so he dressed the natural.
That's cool.
But he threw out the big tease at the beginning.
That's cool, yeah.
It was
they should solid. Make a figure of that. Why don't they...
That'd be actually a really cool figure.
It wouldn't be too hard to do if you someone were to buy a couple more of those Hall of Fame sets, since Eddie has cowboy boots.
Oh yeah.
And then the jeans kind of work with everyone else. Just go, and then I guess
Shield.
But it's a button-up shirt, so you could either sculpt buttons on it or something.
Where was his boots? His jeans tucked in his boots?
I can't remember if they are or not. They might be. So you might need to go a different route with the boots.
Well, if they are, then you could use the cowboy boots, but then you would just use like the Shield calf pieces.
Yeah. I just know that Eddie that comes in that Hall of Fame set, he's got the big baggy pants that go over the top and the boot bottoms. So if you have, I'm not sure about the boot tops or anything.
He's already got the boots on the bottom. So regardless if they are, I thought you meant like the Magnum, not the Magnum TA boots, but like the Magnum TA boots, but the Barry Windham boots.
Mm-hmm. If I had some ones of those, it'd be super, super easy, I think.
And you could do an Undertaker torso, like the purple one, because he has a button-up shirt that.
He does.
Actually, hey man, I should do that. That'd be a fun figure. But either way, like, they should do it. Why? It's easy, like, easy for them. No new parts molding, just a bunch of freaking old parts recasted, or you know.
Take a page out of Hasbro's playbook and reuse the same 5 things for everything.
Yeah. Or like take a page out of the Jakks handbook and just switch the heads. Every other figure is the exact same thing.
Sure. Jakks figures to me, like now, I loved them when they first came out. Now, look, I'm like, why does everyone look like they're all roided out? It's ridiculous.
I know, me too. I'm like, man, they're huge, but they were so awesome. I actually have some right here because I'm doing some RVDs and like some of my old favorite paint jobs from back in the day, like the old Unchained Fury, like the gray one and stuff.
Yeah.
Like TXT did. I think he did a old gray one, but yeah. Anyway,
I think I remember.
I was looking at them and it's pretty crazy because like the R3 ones are actually pretty good figures. Like if you're looking at them.
Oh yeah. They look a little more proportioned than some of the others.
Yeah.
Like the torso doesn't look.
And then you go compared to the Ruth.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's more like the.
It's like, dude.
The quintessential Jakks torso.
Yeah, but I mean the sculpt on the kick pads was so much better compared to what I don't think it'll focus. No. Compared to what Mattel does now.
Yeah, I don't mind the kick pads that they do. It's just. They don't really do a variety of them anymore. Because if you look at that, what was it, Elite 46 or 48, the NXT Finn Balor. If you look at his kick pads, they have actual like triangular like strap buckles on the back that none of the other pads do.
Yeah, his kick pads have that kind of design on the side with the wings or whatever. Mm-hmm. His ones are really nice, and I just wish like. I guess I don't wish it because I'm going to sculpt it, but, like, it would be cool to see a lot of detail, like how the old ones, like, when they used to try to go for, like, that realistic kind of feel, but not fully commit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stoked because Finn's kick pads are awesome, but, like, the other ones, like the Road Dogg ones are, like, almost like Taekwondo kick pads. And I'm like, man, they're a little too... Like for some wrestlers, that's great. Like Samoa Joe, it looks great on.
Mm-hmm. And then
Jericho,
you've
so
got
much.
the dirt bike style ones.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's a little too attitude Shawn Michaels for me.
And I know, well, yeah, and then that's the other thing. It's like they don't do Shawn. They do Shawn with kick pads. Biondo did a sweet fix up, but like Shawn had boots. Like
if you took those is it the Ziggler boots? I think
Ziggler boots, yeah.
And popped them on Shawn, it'd be okay. It'd be pretty close, but you still
better
wouldn't have
better than what they, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because it was crazy. Because I was just thinking about that, man. There's a lot of them. Like the reason I think the kick pads are so bulky is because it started off as CM Punk's. You know, they were like,
oh yeah,
he was the one that they were building the Elite line off of, or whatever. You know, and so his kick pads were actually bulky like that. Like for CM Punk's kick pads, those are pretty accurate.
Yep, I see.
But yeah, for like
Anyone
AJ
else?
Styles and Finn, that's not how their kick pads look.
No,
No.
it's just
No.
the generic kick pad. It's close, but not
It's close, yeah.
at the right.
Yeah, very close.
Close only counts when you have an atomic bomb.
Yeah, or they'll say horseshoes and hand grenades.
So, let's get to this round. This round, comic book character, wrestler meld. I'm guessing you're a very creative guy. You didn't have much issue with it. I think there was kind of a little backlash about it. We'll probably stick towards wrestling in the future. But what was your thoughts when you first heard this was the theme? And then who'd you pick and why?
Let's see. I was like, ooh, neat. And I was like, who can I do?
What's crazy
I was
too,
like,
because
the
like
world's my oyster. I just have to find someone that fits, and I didn't want to go for like a obvious, Finn Balor choice because I mean
Right.
that's too easy.
yeah. Well, and I thought it was crazy for you too, because you're actually the customizer, one of them that has come from another background. So like seeing like Marvel Legends or GI Joes, you're like, okay, I see how they customize them. I'm gonna do that anyways. And like Nick Johnson is very similar, and I see a lot of similarities actually between you guys. I think that'd be an awesome match. That will
Then he
get to
did
happen.
something either incredibly smart or incredibly insane. He decided to do a yellow figure, so
Yes. Here's most of it.
Oh man,
And then there's the lower torso.
what's your
right
little
now.
painting rig there? Show me. I like that stuff.
That's styrofoam and bamboo skewers.
Oh man, I need to get some styrofoam like that.
Yeah, I forget what it came in, but I was like, I'm going to use that because I used to customize G.I. Joe vehicles, and I'd take those, like, styrofoam pads and some skewers and back the shells up on the skewers.
Yeah.
Away.
That's kind of
And
what
so-
I have an old one, but it's a little lopsided and it's not solid. It's very...
That one, does it wash out really bad? Can you kind of see the colors? Or
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
And then Patrick's showing the picture that I'm using. So I'm doing that early
What a-
Madman Adventures.
What
Madman.
a crisp line.
Yeah,
Mad.
I
Good
spray
teamwork.
painted the body white first, and then I masked that top half off with painter's tape, and then I did all the yellow on top of that.
Oh, nice. So
Good teamwork.
let's talk about painter's tape real quick here. Because I used it as well for like my Drago, but I think it's something that there you go. And what's your application of it? Do you like, I know, like for me, I like to kind of cut it in half down the middle just so it's thinner because I feel like it sticks to curves a little better when it's
Yeah.
thinner. But that being said, you have to go around it a lot more. But what's your process?
It's about the same. And if I'm doing like weird small bits, I'll just tear off tiny little chunks and like build it up bit by bit. If I'm doing some little ornate thing,
Yeah.
because I've done masking like that where I have to tear off tiny little pieces and just go and go and go and go and go and go and go. So you wind up having like 30 or 40 tiny little chunks just outlining one thing.
Right.
So that way you can get a good like circle or something like that.
I know I watched like a lot of stuff from Adam Savage, like from Mythbusters. Like he's a big fabrication kind of guy, and like the statue he like collects a lot of statues and kind of it crosses over in that realm like cosplay type stuff, prop replica stuff.
Yeah.
But I know he said like painting is like 75% masking and 25% actual painting, because when he used to work there at George Lucas or Lucasfilm. He's saying like you take most of your time masking the whole thing, and then once you're painting, then you're unmasking it and kind of getting on to the next one. But
I've done some heavy duty mask jobs. He's not lying. And I enjoy them at the same time.
Do you?
It's like the main issue with this one was the fact that I think it's mostly due to how cold it's been compared to normal here. Not like Michigan cold or anything like that, but
right.
affects spray paint cold. And so Krylon Fusion is usually great for any sort of plastic because, it's made to bond to it.
Yeah.
That's what I used as the base coat on this before I put the yellow on.
Oh, nice.
Like, soon as I go to put the pegs in, flakes right off.
No way.
Takes everything out. Like if you, don't know if you can see it, but if you look right here.
Oh, yeah.
See where it flaked all of that off. And so that's why I'm in the processes of spot checking and repainting all the leg pieces.
Oh, man.
Wow.
With yellow, it's so tough. What I've literally resorted to was painting yellow. I use white as a base coat, and then I super glue seal them, or at least that leg joint.
Yeah, that's what I did first. For the joint rub itself, the super glue seal. I've been using that for a long time.
Oh man, it's the best. It's like it's an old trick, and
joint on this guy that I'm working on right now is super glue sealed. So
they're even more articulated than wrestling figures are.
It's so annoying to do, but
hey, you get like the best seal though. You know what I mean? If you wanted to protect your paint job.
Oh yeah, it's crisp, but at the same time, like it's not so crisp that it's just gonna flake everything off.
Right, and it's super cheap, like to spot apply. Like you can go ahead and literally put it in one spot with a tube, and even that's more expensive than the one I use for sealing.
The brush applicator.
Oh, nice, very nice. I should try that. I just get a bunch of those.
$3 a tube at my Marshalls and AC Moore.
Oh, okay,
the only place I can find the brush applicator.
Yeah, I just got like at a Harbor Freight like the $1 for the 6-pack, like the really shitty little foil ones. But it works. Yeah, I use that for pretty much my like baking powder stuff, baking soda stuff.
Yep, I still haven't tried that because I bought some of the actual like testers gap fill putty.
Oh yeah.
Do it, and as soon as I messed around with the hands, it just flaked right out of those gaps. I'm still thinking some other ideas for it. I found that like if you prime it just so those little metal pieces at the end, you can paint over them pretty good. So
yeah.
Most likely what I'll probably start doing is leaving those alone, but getting the self-etching auto primer and spraying it into one of my little paint pots again so I have it dippable. Just dip and go from there and then paint over the top of that.
Man. Yeah, I wish there was more colors than priming bases, but like that's what's crazy because like with these Dragos, I'm pretty much like starting with the base figure red or whatever the Sin Cara is, then I'm going over with it with black after I mask it off, and then I'm going in not like in between the legs though, so he's fully assembled and he's still just as red in between the legs as ever.
Yeah,
and then
sounds like personal.
And then when I start painting him, I'm dry brushing red and building it up, and then until it's to the point to where after you even bend the leg, you can't even tell what was stock and what wasn't because that's how camouflage and chaotic everything is. But that's like often the most realistic. Like these last ones, people are praising as super crazy paint jobs, and it's like that was like my relaxing paint day. To be honest, that's like dry brushing.
It's like when I made that Benoit. The skin tone on that was 2 or 3. I feel like it was 2 or 3 weeks. It may have only been a couple, but just hating the paint jobs that I did, and then just like, screw it, I'm going to leave this color alone. I'm going to go over it and dry brush a lighter tone until I get that perfect one that I want, and that's what I went with, and it worked out really well. So it looks much better because it's all dry brushed. It looks softer and less. I'm trying to think of the word. Less factory, but more real, I guess.
Yeah, I know that's it's crazy because a lot of the patterns that make a face look real in like a 6-scale figure or any face, any little face is like the black, the areas of redness and the areas where the highlights are and stuff, and like all those little random spots. So like when I have like little brown, freckles on a figure, like that's the stuff you don't notice, but like your mind subconsciously registers and like you read that as more real. Even though, in paint application, it's just a bunch of shortcuts. Like, it's just so easy.
Like you can do the dab on the toothbrush and then flick most of it off and then just go.
Yeah.
Batter a little bit on there.
And that's what I did with Gangrel. Like, Gangrel was the old paintbrush that was, like, going to get thrown out. I cut it really jaggedly just so I could really flick it. And for all of his blood, it was, like, there. And it's no airbrush, you know what I mean? Like, for a guy that comes from airbrushing, all my latest work has been hand painting. So.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered to try and get into airbrushing yet. It's like I want to, but I don't want to spend the money on an airbrush.
Yeah, I know. I know. My first one was a little Iwata kit that I got for I actually found a pretty good deal, but I knew I had to go with the compressor right away. That's the thing that I didn't have, so I was like, I gotta get a compressor and shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's like this, lower crotch piece right here. The spray paint job on that, I actually had it tied to a bit of fishing line and hanging from a metal bar out in my yard above the ground and spraying it while it hung around for 2 weeks.
No way.
Pretty much. Layer once a day and put a layer on and then another layer and then I'd move the leg piece and put another layer the next day and another one, and then just each day. Then finally, 4 or 5 days after I started the yellow, I finished the yellow.
And yellow's a pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hanging it above the ground so it can move around trick I got from a buddy of mine that does accurate painting war miniatures,
That's
World
cool.
War II.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he did a bunch of things like that for a movie that he was making. So he bought a model kit to scale and then pictures and painted it to where it looked exactly like it, weathery and everything, rust.
That's awesome.
He's incredibly OCD about that stuff. He'll buy 6 or 7 different figures of the same one at a store to piece them together to where he makes one perfect one the way he wants it. And then he sells the rest.
That's a way to do it, though. You could make a killing off of just parts.
It's true. It's true.
If I decided to stop customizing and I just broke apart all these parts, it'd be a lot more money than the figure themselves.
Yeah. I need to buy more storage containers because my storage for wrestling parts is very subpar. It's this giant Ziploc bag.
That's how we...
That is it. And then just a bunch of stuff I haven't even opened yet, just sitting on the ground.
Actually, you make me very eager to check something out. I think it's almost been a year today that I got back into customizing. That bag reminded me of that because I was like, man, it was crazy because that is the buildup of parts, and then once you start coming up with more ideals, it's actually kind of a downfall because then you just start grabbing everything and anything, and it's like, man, I got way more parts than I could probably ever use right now.
The only thing I've been looking for, and I can't find anyone that has them, is laceless elite boots. All I've got's the basic ones.
Laceless?
Laceless, yeah. The fold.
The Matador ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bunch of Matador ones.
Can't find any non-basic ones from anybody.
Oh, they don't make them.
One day, an elite articulation out of a basic boot.
I think they only made... I don't think they made one. No, because I was gonna say the only figure that would have had one, the only figure that Alberto should have had that boot, and his later versions did have that boot. His basic had that boot, but then one of his elites that should have actually had laces painted gold down the middle, but one of his earlier elites that was white had yellow boots, and they should have been that type of boot, and that boot was elite style, but that boot ended up being more like a Road Warriors or Sting boot with like a buckle on the side. So all of those boots, like the Matadors, are with that peg showing. There's no elite ones.
Yeah, I don't mind the peg showing, because honestly, if you can find any sort of elite bottom, you can cut the sonic welded peg inside, and then you can swap that foot to the other one, and it works just fine too. So I did that because I needed the top part, and so I'll probably sand the laces off of this and then sculpt it to look like that. So that's an elite bottom on, basic top.
What the hell? So what's this sonic welding?
Well,
Tell me about this.
All sorts of information.
That's how they actually get all the pieces like glued. A lot of them glued together, especially like joints. Instead of using an actual adhesive, it's some special like.
Oh yeah.
Little down base tool that's matched. It's really strange. I actually tried to find a sonic welder online. They're like $300 or $400 at the lowest on eBay. They're not guaranteed to work.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's pretty neat. It makes a really strong bond. Really strong. So that's why those little pegs inside of like the elite boots where the little the ring actually goes over.
Yeah, like that T-shaped one.
Yeah, because it's not molded in there, because then you couldn't get the ring in it. They put the ring over that little peg, and then they sonic weld it into place, and that's how you got that seamless look.
Yeah, I like that look. Yeah, because I'm wanting to design an action figure, and I was like, man, how do they even make those parts? That was interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely sonic welding, but there's a shortcut now.
See what I know, or see what I mean? Like, Will is a encyclopedia of even odder, more technical knowledge. Like, I thought I was mad. You're mad, Will. Cutting open hands with pins, making fingers move, and you're the real secret next level here. I don't know what the hell anyone's looking at me about.
So, did you purposely pick yellow to go up against your opponent, or it's just the way it sort of turned out?
With the different versions, I was looking at all of his different costumes. Like classic Madman is more. Is it all glary? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
See, just white with the red.
Oh man.
And if you look at this one, I like the yellow with the white shoulder, and then if you can see right there, you see the red and white one in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I debated on that one too, but then I decided if I've got time this weekend, which I should, I might try to sew up a jacket and put that on the yellow one too, kind of like that picture, combine the two.
That's sweet.
Nice. That's the plan.
And you picked a hard one too, because then now you have white and yellow and red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and trying to find a head, I'll probably use the edge head here.
Oh, I'll be
just peel the hair off, because he doesn't have ears sculpted on, so all I've got to do is sand and sculpt the helmet up, because if you looked at Madman's face, there's no ear definition. It's just flat down, and then you've got that little split in the mask where you've got the lightning bolt on the forehead, and then it's just sculpted hair from there.
Wow. I'm excited.
I'm hoping everything goes smoothly. My only issues is I know the joints won't look as good as they had been if it hadn't flaked, but it's...
Knock on wood.
I had one.
Flying.
Yeah, I had one that didn't flake to death. One of the arms didn't. Die.
The one thing I would say is that for us, you definitely get judged on the whole figure, and we see everything else. But for a lot of the fans, I mean, as long as you have one good picture, I'm not gonna tell them the backside is or anything. You know what I mean? Like.
These these right here, I actually had the shoulders. I actually had to go back in because that fusion just kept flaking off. So I had to go in and actually sand the insides of the shoulder wheels. So I've got to repaint the shoulder sockets here pretty soon.
So you can't ever. I mean, it's probably pretty hard to take the shoulder and separate it from that hinge part, right?
It's the same thing you would do if you were doing the boot. You let's see, where is it? I've got it sitting here somewhere right now. No, I've moved it. Shit. I put my X-Acto knife somewhere stupid. But all you do...
That's not a good thing to go missing.
I've got like 3 or 4 of them, and I never remember where I put them until I don't need them. And then I was like, oh, there it is. Okay, good. But, so, say if you look like right there. Right?
Yeah.
Where the hinge is.
Yeah.
You just slide your X-Acto knife right in there, and you just slice the peg, heat it up, and just pop it out.
Okay.
It worked the same way with one of these.
Okay, so of course, so it's pretty much they mold the plastic into it, so you just have to cut it.
Yeah, it's like that's where the sonic welding comes from. The peg is only molded on one side, I believe, and so that way, when the part comes out of the mold, all they've got to do, is apply that adhesive or what have you to the peg piece after they put the ring in or the swivel, and then just bond it together.
Hey, there we go.
And that's how it goes. So you just slice that peg, and it's just like reversing the process. And then when you put it together, you put a tiny dab of glue on there so you don't get too much. Close it up, and then just keep moving it so that way the glue bonds that one spot but doesn't lock up the other.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did that to tighten up one of my casted heads, and it actually ended up working out pretty good, but makes his head limitation, like, he can't turn his head 180 degrees, and I was like, well, screw it, no one can anyway, so.
One of my favorite head tricks with the little guys is taking one of their elbow joints and cutting it in half and inserting that into the bottom of the head, and then using the peg end and putting it down in the torso with making a loose socket, so that way you get full like lean back articulation for the chin and everything, so they could look straight up if they wanted to, and really far down, and they still get left to right swivel and all that good stuff.
If you think about it too, that's actually the most realistic, because you're never going to be turning your head back like diagonally. You're not going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but why? Like it's going to be very lateral, just up and down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a trick that I saw, like someone posted one time. Well, this one's one that I didn't glue the peg back in, so every time I pop him off, the ring stays.
Oh, I see.
I didn't feel like gluing the peg back in just because sometimes you're worried about it sticking.
That's cool. That's crazy.
So many little.
There we go.
Tricks.
All these little tidbits. Well, what we were gonna try to do next was have you on with us, like as a little pre-show. Have another guest join us, and this would kind of be the first time ever we've had 4 guests.
Fatal 4-way.
Fatal 4-way, you say?
We're gonna try that with My Damn Toys, and we want to pretty much have a roundtable discussion, breaking down the matchups.
Oh, nice.
There we go. So, how's it looking, Pat?
Yeah. All right. Should we add him?
Yeah. I can do it. Is he good, though? Okay. Is he good to go?
Yeah, he was.
Do you have one of these?
Text me.
Oh, no, I don't. I need to.
I don't even remember where I got it.
Where did you get one? I thought a chain mail glove was actually not even a real thing.
No, it's legit. I don't even remember where I got it. I acquired it in my travels, I guess you could say.
Have you ever cut yourself? Hey, there's My Damn Toys.
Hey, My Damn
We're doing it.
Last real good one was 8th grade. I've still got a crescent scar right there from a box cutter.
Oh, man, yeah. I cut myself earlier today with the Phillips.
Ooh.
That was not a fun cut.
Most of my scars are burns, so.
Ooh.
So much fun.
We got Madame Toys on here with us, and brother, we are actually not live, but we are recording, so we're hot right now. But we didn't know if this would actually work with 4 people at once. Yeah, hey, there we go. I could hear you there. There we go.
All right, great.
Cool.
I had
Could
to
you hear
The
us?
best part is I just looked, and our Lakers are tied with the playoff team Pelicans. So here's hoping.
Yeah, we need to win like 10 games in a row to make the playoffs.
I'm just happy that the Hornets aren't the Pelicans anymore. That made me mad being a Carolinian when they left. Now they're back, and I'm happy again.
Carolinian. That's.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm a North Dakotan. Yeah, that's not.
Well, I'm technically a North Carolinian, so being one of the others that have North-South designation for our.
So you guys don't have the difference. You guys are just all in one. Then the Carolinas are the same now. 2018 now.
When it comes to teams, almost all of them is just Carolina and then team name. We shouldn't care because South Carolina isn't good enough to have their own, I guess.
Well,
but all the teams are based in North Carolina.
I am not watching basketball, so welcome, guys.
What's
I'm super stoked though that this works as a 4-way talking heads. It's kind of like an old Devo music video, so we're gonna try this out as like a round table.
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We need about 6 more people.
Yeah, we need a.
How do I get Pat's face in it?
Oh, is he up in the corner? You go to the right, and
he's like he's over there where like the mom or the dad would be. He's not Alice. He's not in the center.
There it goes. I guess.
I'm seeing a 4-way here.
Yeah, I am.
I've got U2 tiled on the left, and then MDT on the right, singled, and then me.
Yeah, that's how it is for me too.
Can you see Pat now?
I got it now.
All right. So you are going up against the great, the amazing Biondo, and we've seen your figure, we've seen his, and you did a really good job. I think you got a serious shot at this. So
I appreciate it. I'm still worried about it. When I saw his entrance vest for Seth, I was like, Jesus, man.
That Iron Man vest?
Yeah.
That's nice. That is nice.
So
not want to do him like that. I know one of my initial ideas, I was talking to Pat when he first told me about it, was the tick.
Because he's behind on watching the show.
I have very little time after work.
You have snow days and you have a whole spring break now.
Yeah, now I can catch up, yeah. But I'm the head baseball coach at work now, too, so I'm there until late, like 4 or 5 days a week.
But anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your story.
So you're the typical art teacher that is also a coach. There's nothing wrong with that, man. That was my art teacher back when.
So,
he was a wrestling coach, though. So
when you
we had a different.
First heard of the idea, something?
The tick?
You were talking to me?
Yeah, about the tick.
Yeah, the tick.
Oh,
He's my favorite. I mean, of the B guys, Batman's my favorite. Look at that guy back there. You can finally see.
Oh, I see him.
He's a monster. Yeah, but Batman's my favorite. But like from the indie comics, like the Tick is like my favorite. Like, because he's so big and stupid, and I'm like.
So is that what Will's doing? Doing the Tick?
He's doing Madman.
No, Madman.
Oh, okay.
Who is Madman? I was gonna ask that anyways. What's his?
He's
deal?
Just he's some. If I remember right, he's just some dude that doesn't remember who he is.
Oh, okay. So
he's some weird superhero like that with storyline amnesia. But it's been so long since I've read the books. I've got to freshen up on them. I'm trying to.
So is he in like a real life world, and he is convinced that he's like got superpowers, or is he like?
No, I think he's in like a regular superhero world, if I remember right.
Okay, so he's like legit.
Yeah, but at the same time, some of that stuff's so psychedelic, you kind of wonder, because some of like his comics are ludicrous looking. It's crazy. There's so much weird stuff. Like you saw that cover with the weird eyeballs with the teeth pupils. Exactly. That.
It's a different comics for when you're in altered states.
And My Damn Toys did Dolph Ziggler as Green Lantern.
Oh,
which I could see. I could see Ziggler being in the Lantern Corps.
Do we have a sneaky peeky? That's something.
We have a final reveal, but we can't do that yet.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Mine's still in pieces, so it's okay.
Dolph's going to use his ring to imagine a championship.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be sweet. A translucent green
championship.
Hopefully, there's not too much yellow on Beyondo's. Otherwise, he's going to have a bad time. Because remember, the Green Lantern Power Ring doesn't work against yellow.
Yeah, Beyond is Stark. Rollins as Stark. Like that's Rollins has never done that in real life, right? Like this is made up.
I don't know.
The best he's ever done is like red and black.
That one was cool. That red one was pretty cool.
I've seen fantasy like photoshopped of it, but I'm sure Beyond will do better than the Photoshop. So.
Well, I thought this was a cool. This is actually perfect to segue into another aspect of it, though. But I thought it was a cool theme. Maybe in others not so much, but in that process and thinking about like a cooler way to come up with the theme, My Damn Toys actually came up with I thought a genius process and something that I was like wishing I would have thought of earlier, because I've referenced the same show before, but I just had never really broken down like that. But you want to tell us like the concept of what it is you would envision as, because I think it's probably better coming out of your words than mine, because I would pretty much kill it. I wouldn't do it justice.
All right. So what I'm thinking is like if you had, I guess you could start. You may want to start off with a lower number because 16 would probably drag it out a long time. But if you went with like maybe 10 to 12 to start, maybe even 8 to 12 guys, and then you would start it off. You'd have like a flash challenge. Maybe it would be like an accessory, like you have to paint up a certain accessory, or like custom championship or something. You have a specific flash challenge theme, and then the whoever did the best on that, you would only have like maybe a few days to complete it. So then after that, you would whoever won that would then decide the theme or the superstar, what have you, for that round. And then whoever got worst custom of the day out of all those guys, the 10 or 12 or however many, they would go home. And then,
Oh, yeah. I never even thought about that aspect of it.
Like creating the custom underground belt.
Is that what you're making?
I did not make it. Last Smith made it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
an absolute genius.
I'm probably going to get one of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight belts made by him to put on that Prince Devitt that I made a while back.
Yeah, I'm ordering one of those from him too, and I'm just waiting for one of my buddies for the gun hand. I'm gonna do the gun hand. His
price is
with
really
him,
good.
Because he's gonna be really sweet.
Yes.
Well, really talented customizer that does the pistols. I'm really stoked though, because all my Bullet Club members are gonna have the hand signs.
Oh yeah, when I get done, you'll be able to do it all, man.
And you could make a kill. Why doesn't Mattel make the fingers posable anyways? Like it just seems like a natural thing to have done nowadays.
Money.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the size, perhaps. Just the fact that they're so small. I mean, I couldn't imagine it being much harder than putting like some sort of flexi wire armature inside the mold when they inject the plastic. But at the same time, if you look at bendy figures, you can see those little double holes wherever.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm not sure like the logic behind it. Like I couldn't imagine it being any more expensive than packaging an extra accessory or something in there.
I'd rather take extra hands. I mean, they're doing that with the Hardy guys now, finally.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet. And I was just like,
dude, I want to switch all my hands over to that way. Yeah, I'm going to get all those forearms.
heat up the hand, and then use an X-Acto knife and slit in between the fingers or what have you. Like depending on like if it's skin tone, you don't have to worry about painting it. But if it's like gloves or something that are black, they have like the skin tone inside it.
Oh, man.
You can then like you heat them up, you hold them in place the way you want them, run them under cold water, and it'll stay.
Do they stay pretty well?
Yeah.
If you do the cold water shock, it does really good. If you get a bowl of ice water, it'll do it even faster. It's just like that. It turns in. It's like rock hard.
Wow. I've done it with Jeff Hardy. I did it with Mickie James. I made her do the WrestleMania 21 or whatever it was with the little V thing for my review.
Way.
Yeah, I did that. I've done a few more. It's pretty easy. I did 2 Sweet Hands before. It's pretty easy.
That's cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, I need to go through and some of the ones that I've done with my thing, and like I need to go and seal some of the hand detail paints with like crazy glue or something, because like that's the only thing that I don't mess with. Like the Devitt that I did, where I did the wash to get the black fingernail paint too. That's right around the cuticle.
Oh yeah.
The streak running back to it. Like if I pose it, I just next thing I know, I've wiped it off with my hand. So like while I was doing pictures for it, I reapplied it like 6 or 7 times. Like every time I change the hand pose, I just go back over it, repaint in the line.
Oh man, yeah. I don't like touching customs when they're. I don't know. I don't like touching my own figures. I'm like, oh man, I feel like I need white gloves to play with all my customs.
Oh man, it doesn't bother me to mess with my figures because in college I worked at an art gallery and I've handled like Warhols, hanging them and everything.
So you're just like used to it. You're like, oh, no big deal.
If I mess this up, I'll never work again.
I don't even know why. It's just like half the time when I'm painting, I'm using my fingers to dab off the paint anyways. Because
mine are a hot mess. I don't wear gloves while I do it because even just a pair of latex gloves, they desensitize my hands so much I can't stand.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't really sculpt with them either, unless I'm doing like a wax clay. But regardless, I digress. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this round table here. This 4-way. Next week is the 25th.
Meeting together.
Next week is the 25th. That's when the entries are due. Some people have already got them done, but that being said, let's go ahead and I want MDT, you're going to break down your side of the bracket, which is Bubble and Squeak, the NWF, yourself, and Biondo. And we're going to switch back and forth with Will, who he's going to break down his side of the bracket, which is himself, Chargrove, TSM, and CAW. I think each side of the bracket poses their own challenges. I'm seeing a lot of similar styles on opposite sides of the bracket, so it's kind of interesting because I feel like Randomizer was a real gift to us this time. But go ahead, we're going to start off on the left side. So Madame Toys, what do you think of the Bubble and Squeak and NWF matchup that is opposite of you guys, I guess, right?
Bubble and Squeak and NWF, it's crazy because like the first round, we had like some epic matchups, and then we had some underdogs versus Goliaths. But for this Elite Eight right here, I think it's pretty much, besides me and Biondo, probably, I think we have like some epic matchups right here. So Bubble and Squeak and NWF, I think that'll be epic AF, and it could go either way. I think I would favor the NWF just because he's been in this competition. He's been in this competition. He's been around. He knows what he's doing. He always posts some clean work. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bubble and Squeak knocked him off. Can y'all tell me what they're doing?
Yeah, I think we can. Pat?
Yeah, it's a good question.
So I'm going to catch that ball, and then I'm going to hand it off over to Pat.
Let's see it.
Well, because he knows, but, we can definitely disclose it, but, I try to keep an arm's distance because I don't want to, see too much, but, I'm really stoked, and we're all really stoked, and Showstopper was really stoked to see Madame Toys' entry yesterday. He's like, this is a very solid entry, and actually talking about how so many people are getting better so obviously, in this community, really, not us, but as a whole, everyone's just doing crazy shit, what the hell?
it's like crazy because Showstopper, me and him have been friends for like over a year and a half now.
Jeez.
Like I've gotten so much work from him, like it's ridiculous. Like I'm probably his #1 customer, but especially when I first started, I had like 12 orders or so. But he hit me up last night because I have some figures that I'm getting done by him, and he was like, nice custom by the way. And so I was like, thanks, bro. Like, because in the past I used to send him my work, and he would be like, you need to work on this. This looks better.
Nice.
Yada, yada, yada. So like, yeah, it's kind of cool to see that he sees the progression as well.
Yeah, and he's super. He's got input for everything. He's super giving.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Man, that's crazy.
The skin tones I've seen of anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think with how many customs he does, he's just so experienced. He's got such just a library to pull from. It's just because man, he does more customs than I think in 2 months than I do in a whole year.
Is he from the Philippines?
Yep.
It's funny. Like me and some buddies started a custom group for our 1/18 scale stuff and just anything else we do, the Syndicate. And one of my buddies in that is he goes by Ice Cream Man. He's also from the Philippines, and that dude cranks out at least 150 customs a year.
No way.
Before January was over, he already had 20 or 30 done.
Wow.
I don't know how, and it's not even his career. He's got a full-time job too, so
yeah.
That's
and
insane.
Joey owns like his own catering company.
Yeah, he's got discipline. That's what it is. He's just like, I'm gonna work through this regardless. I'm like,
yeah, I'm hella lazy, so I
same here. I'm like, man, if I don't, I gotta feel motivated to like, I gotta love it. You know what I mean? Like,
is that the animated Batman mobile to your?
It is. Yeah, I had to rearrange the house because I'm getting ready to show it, so I had to like literally take down all of my stuff and clean it up. But I still got to clean off the ledge there. But that's my animated Batmobile. I collect those guys.
I got it from Big Bad Toy Store, and then I got out of the line just because those figures were just very much of a headache. So I just I sold like the whole thing, even though I love the show and the series.
I know, same here.
Yeah,
they're a pain, and then I got the Batcave, and I can't fit it anywhere because it's so huge, dude. Like it's honestly like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, and I'm like, I can't put this anywhere. There's no shelves this wide, so it's literally staying under my stairs. And then our realtor's like, you should leave up the Batman costume, haha. And I'm like, if someone touches this, they're gonna have a bad day. So
it's like
I don't know what Public Speaks is doing. I can't quite find that, but the NWF was thinking about doing Gambit, Baylor is Gambit.
Who?
That should be pretty good.
The NWF. The NWF.
Who is he doing as Gambit though?
Finn.
Oh.
That's actually
that's
cool
a good choice. The hairstyle works.
Yeah.
The hairstyle works, and dude, if you did it with like a trench coat,
he better have cards in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made a 1/18 scale Gambit, and I made scale cards and a scale cigarette for him.
Yeah.
So I split the fingers, and he could actually hold the cigarette in his hands. And I painted the filter, and I painted the chart in with just
dope.
Hint, so it looked like it was still glowy.
Oh, that's dope.
And then I made another card that I encased in hot glue that I painted transparent pink, and then made that to where it hooked to the hand, so he's got the energy effect throwing the card.
Oh, dude, I've actually done hot glue too for some of those like rubber accessories or stuff.
The hot glue it's clutch.
Man, it works.
So jumping over really quickly to the other side, your opponent will.
Oh boy!
About doing a Gambit, but with Kenny Omega.
Ooh,
that's what Chargrove's doing.
Yeah,
that would be good if you're going like later era Gambit, where he's got the neckerchief trench coat combo and the hair's more down. That would work really well. So yeah.
Wait, Chargrove is doing Gambit or Omega as Gambit?
Yes.
No way.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Dude.
What's weird? It's weird because like Gambit is one of the like he's an awesome character, but he's like one of the. You know what I'm saying? He's not like the first thing you think of when you think of Marvel. You wouldn't think of Gambit, and we have 2 Gambits out of 8 people. So I think
I know that's a little wild. It's like I was thinking, who am I gonna do? And then my classic curse, which either works really well for me or bites me in the ass, is like I go too obscure.
Who does nobody know?
They're like, who is this? What is this guy doing? Jackass made that up. It doesn't exist.
That'd be a good Flash challenge. Like, come up with a.
I think you photoshopped those comic book covers.
No, they're real. They're real. I own one of them.
They're gonna be sweet though. I mean, that Gambit. If you think about it, Omega as Gambit. Like Omega wore a trench coat a while as a cleaner. I mean, I guess you can kind of pull that through. With the blue too, like the blue in Wrestle Kingdom.
If they went and did something like this, like with the trench coat, and then they made a backing that was a Bullet Club reference, and then it said like Gambit, and then it said the Cajun below it.
There you go.
Do you realize right now what you're giving is your opponent a recipe to make his custom even cooler?
I'm okay with that. It just makes the game more fun.
That is such a cool one, the Cajun he is.
It would work out so well.
Dude, you know what would have been cooler, Chargrove, is Lash LaRue as Gambit. If you guys remember Lash LaRue. Like, that would have been perfect, because he never got a figure, and can't imagine why not. Shit.
Alright. Let's see. Let me zoom in. Maybe it'll show. Because, again, we've got that nasty glare. Can't tell if you can see it at all.
Oh, yeah.
No way to really catch it.
I love like Marvel Legends. I'm hoping Hasbro makes a new Gambit. I don't remember them making one like here lately, so I'm hoping maybe in the future we'll get a new one.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a good one. They haven't. The last Gambit they made was like a Marvel Select, I think. But I've seen some good custom ones.
The Toy Biz days, I know they made a Gambit. I think I bought it at Walmart when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Toy Biz, man. Toy Biz was so revolutionary, like, way ahead of their time.
Yo, Toy Biz, bro. I used to get a figure every time I went to Walmart. I had,
Save
like,
here.
Legends.
I only have one Toy Biz Legend left, and it's hanging from the ceiling back there. I've got the variant Angel, the one in the blue instead of the red.
Man, that's such a sick figure, too.
Dope.
So he's hanging from my ceiling with, let's see.
That would have been sweet. The villain, you could have did Marty as the Penguin or Marty as Archangel. Like,
Marty as Angel or Archangel would have been sick. If it'd been Archangel,
dude, right? Yeah.
Blue face paint, blonde dye job, you're done.
So let me get your opinion on TSM is doing Deadpool as our Finn Balor is Deadpool, and CAW is doing Psycho Clown as Venom. Thoughts?
I like that Psycho Clown one.
Psycho Clown as Venom is a very good one.
I like
people
branches off from using Balor for everything superhero related too, as we were mentioning earlier. But he's just
Psycho Clown is like I'd say like he's like the Mexican Mankind, kind of not Mankind, but you know what I mean. Like he's like a very hardcore crazy person with a mask, and his mask has got like kind of like that Venom-ish kind of snout to it. So that would be really sweet if he.
Everybody's going off the wall, bro. I thought everybody was gonna be doing like Batman and Superman, like you know what I'm saying, standard. And everybody
Same here, yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I'm glad to see it, but I was expecting like I didn't expect anybody to do Balor just because I thought Pat mentioned like don't just get Balor and throw a superhero in it.
They clearly didn't listen to the podcast.
I said that when I was talking with him when he first told me the thing. I was just like, man, I could just grab another Balor and like do one up. I mean, the basics are showing up for $5 at Five Below, so I was like, I'll scoop one of those for parts.
Oh, man, I don't have Five Below.
I mean, I literally since I do a Balor every month, like I'm constantly thinking of Balor stuff. So I guess I can get some ideas from people's entries this time.
Your last one was super sick. I love that Terminator one.
I appreciate it.
I'm like, man.
It kind of felt like it was incomplete. Like I would have liked to add to the back and maybe like the kick pads and maybe some trunks and stuff. But I was like, it was already approaching the end of March or February, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I got to get this thing up. So I like worked hard on the everything else and got it up in time. So
yeah, it was really sweet. I mean, it's so tough because there's not much you could do like without going like too crazy. Like, and then it's like, well, Kenny Omega's kick pads are kind of like Terminator kick pads, or like, so like you got to think of something.
Yeah, I didn't want to copy his either.
Right.
So, yeah.
Where does that?
That face is awesome there.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making that. When I was doing my video for it, though, it was a horror. Like, it was terrible because I it's hard to like get the details when you're filming yourself because the camera, you don't want to block the camera.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to be painting from like far back because you want to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd recommend getting one of these if you do any more metal. The Molotov liquid chrome pen. Oh.
I think I've heard of that before. I think I actually bought one of those a while back, but I haven't used it. It's probably chilling in my drawer.
It's so nice. I did. That's how I did the kick pads for the G1 Kenny that I made, because he's got those weird like holographic metallic kick pads.
Yeah.
So I just did this and then painted the details on top of it.
It's weird, yeah, because I use a different metallic too. I use like a chrome, like it's like an oil-based paint pen, but it's like really chrome. So like that's how I did like those Corey Graves studs and like Rey Mysterio studs, like all of those. I just actually like dip it on there and then you apply it with the brush. But silver's super hard. Chrome is hard.
These are alcohol based, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that Citadel Runefang steel, it actually worked really well. I was like happy with it. So.
It is very nice. It's the best silver, I think. Like out of the thing, that's what I used for Jarrett.
Yeah.
The only silver I've got the Testers Model Master silver. That stuff is so watery. Like it's probably one of the worst silver paints I've ever messed with. You've got to do like 8,000 coats to even get it to look like pale silver.
Yeah, Testers really collects on the bottom. Sometimes I feel like you gotta really mix up that pigment. It's so thick when it's there.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. You just got to sit there and do this for something to watch. About the time you're done with the pay-per-view, it'll be ready. Your arm will be tired, and then it'll be time to paint. It's terrible. It's like I wish I had like a miniature version of the paint shakers from like Lowe's.
Like a protein shaker cup, just of paint.
Yes.
So we got Green Lantern, Iron Man, Madman. You said
Madman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Gambit.
Gambits.
Venom.
Deadpool.
And one more.
And Bubble and Squeak is doing...
Don't know. Oh, the end of
Deathstroke. He's doing Deathstroke.
That'd be dope.
That would have been the great matchup to do Deathstroke versus Deadpool, since
it would have been. Yeah, he's doing Deathstroke, and it does look sweet.
Who's the base?
Steve Austin. Is he doing Austin? I think Austin is Deathstroke.
That's weird. That's different.
Was it Austin?
It's grizzly enough to work, I think.
I can't remember. Yeah. Pat?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I can get behind that choice.
He was in he messaged both of us.
Did he? Oh.
Mad Reaper's like, he messaged both of us, bro. What are you doing?
He's like, damn it.
He's like, you're embarrassed.
Like Napoleon Dynamite. It was in a group message.
I'm really hoping, like, the next round, if I make it through, like, it's something that I can work into. I want to make the characters from Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Saturday Night Slam Masters. What was that?
Super Nintendo game.
Oh, man, no way.
It's one of the most fun arcadey wrestling games ever.
There's a new one out, I guess, Fire Pro Wrestling, that is on Steam. That's supposed to be insane.
I saw that. One of my collectible stores around here, they got a Super Famicom copy of Fire Pro Wrestling, a Super Fire Pro Wrestling X. That's nice.
It's gonna be coming to PS4, I guess. Like you can literally play as every wrestler ever created, and yeah.
Oh, I used the crap head scan. He used the one that looks like it does. The one that doesn't even like resemble Stone Cold, in my opinion. But
is that? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's the hit
Is it
scan
from,
that
like,
I
a
seen someone
basic-
turn into Dan Severn, I think, before.
Oh, I've got all those things.
Which was
That'll
a really
be
good
dope.
hit scan. So
I'm
that'll
worried.
be.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, so that'll be a pretty good matchup or a mix-up mashup.
No, definitely. What I was gonna say is I think that Biondo, I know how like he likes to go over the top with his sculpting, so I bet he's got like armor on the legs. I bet he's got like the extended detailed metal on the kick pads for Seth. He's probably got some I don't know. He probably has gauntlets sculpted on and everything. Like, I don't see it.
You might be even going crazy now, and he's gonna go back and be like, "Why didn't I think of some of these things?" It's
I don't
nuts.
know. I'm
Though.
just envisioning, but you never know.
Mine's just all paint apps. The only downside is it's all yellow.
You did enough sculpting last round. You're like, I sculpted 2 masks for one
Yeah.
mask challenge.
So if you look, here's some characters from Slam Masters. You got your classic
no.
style wrestler, and then something like that.
So it's real old school. Yeah, that's cool.
Big burly dudes.
Most of those would probably be pretty easy. As far
I
as
know.
the body
I'd even
mold?
go.
That's
Yeah,
what
I'd even
Will
go so
said.
far as to make the title belt. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
there's
be-
the one I'm.
That's sweet.
and who's
Oh,
your
yellow.
base?
I used a combo of, let's see, Stardust and Sami Zayn for the body parts because I was running low and I'm using an edge head, so the edge body matches up with that pretty well. Like because I was using my regular edge as a reference, I'm gonna pop the head off of it, get rid of the hair, and build it up like that.
So it's Edge.
Yeah,
That'd be dope.
and then this is one of the coolest characters from Slam Masters.
Looking
Like-
looking like SS4 Gogeta.
Yeah, exactly. And then that one right there, big burly looking guy.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
crazy.
be a cool project.
Yep. Classic, masked wrestler right here.
Dude, I wish there was like more figures on the market with bases that were like obnoxiously sculpted like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, most likely if I'm going to do the big burly guys, I'm going to have to cobble like wrestling and Marvel Legends together to even get the scale
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Or just buy all the John Cena torsos ever made.
Yeah.
John Cena.
I thought about actually making y'all know the pick fed. I was gonna add like an NXT division, and I was gonna make like 10 or 12 like original characters, like their gimmicks, their
That'd be
look,
sweet.
everything. And I was
Like
just
a
gonna make
205
like,
or something like.
yeah, like it was just gonna be like a little gimmick thing. I wouldn't do it often, but I would just have like random shows, and I would like, I don't know, make them off the wall. But
You should do it. That would be epic. Like, could you imagine? Like, you could script it to where you could get over this character that you invented.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be, and then like maybe they'd show up at the Rumble or something. That would
Like,
be.
And all you have to do is just make like someone like Brock like job to them or something, and build them up really strong, and
Yeah.
people are watching be like, "Hey, I actually like this guy."
Yeah, exactly.
I dislike Brock so much. He needs a job to everybody being as part-time as he is.
Wait, what about? Let's get into that real quick. What do you guys think is Undertaker? It's gonna be Undertaker, right? Like they're not gonna do a switcheroo and be like, "Hey, he's stuck with Kane now."
No, it should be Taker. I mean,
They're probably going to do Taker finally beats Brock.
What I
That's
would
some
do
shit.
is like go full 90s and have like Kane rip off the mask at the end and it's Undertaker and it's like and then but like they wouldn't do that
I would
gimmick
be
because that's
okay.
so old, of them. Like they'd be like, "Why is Kane coming out with this mask?" and catch on right away.
yeah.
If Undertaker were to shave, and then that would be not good because he probably
He
like the rumor is that he's supposed to be coming out as American Badass Undertaker, right? Like
To me, I mean, that would be cool, but I don't know why everybody's like Kid Rock could like play a song. His song with Kid Rock was awful, and it wasn't even like long. He
That
needs to
gimmick
do
was
Limp
awful, I
Bizkit if
thought.
anything.
yeah,
He needs to do
I really hated American Badass Undertaker. I
I
couldn't
mean-
stand And I was just like, oh my God, I hate this so much. Bring back the cheese. I mean,
in like the big picture, it's like cool for Taker for reinventing himself and getting some more mileage out of his career. But like as a fan, it's like shame because that like really sucks. But like I mean, I heard that the American Badass Taker was created because at that point he was thinking about even going to WCW, and he wasn't going to be the dead man over there. But then Vince is like, no, I can't lose you. Yeah. So then he's American Badass over there. But it's like. Because they're saying like he never retired that gimmick, and it's like, oh man, I bet you they're right too. Because now Kid Rock's getting inducted. You know he's gonna sing "Rollin'" or no, that was Limp Bizkit. So it doesn't even make sense, right? Yeah, that one song that Kid Rock, that's an awful song to walk out to.
Exactly. Yeah,
it is awful. What are you talking
about? People are sharing memes like Kid Rock needs to perform at WrestleMania with this song. I'm like, bro, you realize his good song was Limp Bizkit, right? It wouldn't even make sense.
You're right.
And everybody's like, yeah. It should be Kid Rock, and I'm like, no.
Kid Rock covering Limp Bizkit at WrestleMania for American Badass Undertaker. Just a whole bunch of nopes that nobody wants to see, but it might very well happen.
Yeah.
All right, here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Kid Rock versus Limp Bizkit, and they're gonna wrestle, and whoever wins gets to sing the damn song.
It's gonna be a celebrity deathmatch.
Well, it works. I mean, only because Fred Durst was that unlockable character in one of the old SmackDown games back in the day.
Yeah, just bring it.
Yeah, that's gonna be my pick fed. I'm gonna start a pick fed, and it's gonna be like
celebrity pictures. That'd be dope as shit.
Straight up celebrity death match.
I want them to. I heard they were bringing that back at some point.
They need to. It'd be so epic.
Then again, though, people like that was back in like the golden time. Like I was only like 5 or 6, but I remember like. Celebrity Deathmatch brings back huge nostalgia for
Same
me.
Here. Yeah.
But like, I don't know, watching that and always seeing Stone Cold on there was like the best. And then,
that's true.
You know, that was back when like wrestling and everybody didn't get offended by everything. Like you could say anything you wanted. Like you could say faggot. You could say, you could say any of that stuff, and it wouldn't matter. So I mean, I don't know. That would be beautiful to see, but I don't think it would be like as obnoxious and all that.
Yeah, it's not as funny to be offensive, It's crazy because I seen a tweet that said, and I'm not gonna get political, but I did see a tweet that was like, I can't believe I have a president that bangs pro porn stars and I still hate him, and I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. But like, there's it's like shock music now, right? Like I'm kind of like a shock music kind of fan, and nothing shocking now because like the real world.
It's like.
Sucks.
Ghost being one of the most over like bands ever now, and like all of their shtick is the whole Satanism thing.
And it's like commercial now. It's like kind of like
I know. Okay. I know that's the craziest part. In the 80s, Tipper Gore would have tried to eat them alive.
Yeah. Oh man. And this that's the thing. It's crazy because yeah, it's just it's a whole nother time where I don't think Celebrity Deathmatch could be recreated because I think that everyone would be so offended. Besides, like, there's no personalities like that anymore either. Like there was a Carrot Top, Marilyn Manson, Stone Cold, and it's like not even in the WWE. There's only like one gimmick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the thing too. Is like nobody's like that wild anymore. It used to be Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan and Marilyn Manson and Carrot Top and all these crazy people in Hollywood. Now it's like everybody in Hollywood pretty much keeps their nose clean because, I mean, you get eaten alive.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. If you push the envelope at all now, you push another one to your lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Litigation rules.
It's not a bad thing.
It is terrible.
So, well, I mean, I guess we've broken down our bracket. That's pretty much as far as we can go, given the fact that we have 2 competitors inside there, and I mean, we're not going to be throwing ourselves underneath the bus, but like, what do you guys predict for your guys' matchups specifically against your opponents? What do you think your opponents? I know you've already talked about Biondo and coming out with the Iron Man, but Chargrove, what is the one thing that you think it would have to be to smash your custom?
And
And then forget the popularity, like, right? Like, I think that's obviously a big elephant in the room, right? But I meant stylistically, because because Omega is not a Gambit kind of person.
Yeah.
What would he have to be done conceptually to make him really cool?
I'm thinking he's going to need, like, plenty of, like, the accessories. Almost thinking, like, how over-the-top Omega's, like, entrance gear is. Like, think of this past Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to have to make the armored chest plate if you're going to make him look right. You're going to have to make the built-up, like, shin guards with, like, the knee pad plate. Like, the classic little diamond shape inside of it.
Like Evan Bourne type shin guards?
Kind of, I think, yeah. Yeah. Something similar to that. I wish I had that Toy Biz Gambit so you could kind of see, because you know how the Gambit boot is metal and then it has those like ribs across it.
Yeah.
So he would have to figure out some way to do those. When I made my little guy, I used a G.I. Joe figure that had that sort of ribbing going down like the front of like a shin guard, and then I just sculpted the back of the boot to cover up the pants, so it made it look like it matched up.
Oh,
and, so there was that, and then you'll have to do the trench coat, of course, because he just doesn't work without the trench coat.
That's a good point. I know, actually, now that you say it, I was gonna withhold it until like I did it like on my like instructional series or something, but this is like the last tip I'll give, because someone did ask me, actually I think it was TSM, asked me what did I use for my Vampiro's hat, and when you were talking about the shin pads, like this was my ancient Chinese secret that I wasn't like hoarding, like I would never dodge the question, but I was definitely like not forthcoming with my secret. But my secret to like Drago's removable armor and his shin pads, and I know that I'm the first to do this for customs, is bringing in like the thermal plastic from the cosplay industry, like the Warbler and Warbler and Wonderflex. So
yeah, my buddy uses that stuff all the time.
So I was like using it for my costumes before. Like I was actually building a armored Batman, and I needed a hard finish, and so I take a blow dryer to that, heat it up.
I wondered if it was heat gun or blow dryer.
Mold it to what I want. Yeah, no, it's not even that hot. And then I mold it, and then it comes off, but it has that flex, and it's a legitimate plastic. Yep. So with Drago, what I've done for the boots, and for Rey Mysterio's boots, and I think that's actually one of the reasons probably people dig that Rey Mysterio, is I cut it out. I made a pattern with paper, cut it out on this plastic. I got it really thin. You can cut it. I get mine at like cosplaysupplies.com or whatever. And you mold it, and then you can go ahead and take the needle tool and make those ribbons. So if you look at my Drago boots right now, those exact ribbons that you were talking about for Gambit, that's exactly what he needs to do, because that, like, oh man, that's such a perfect texture too. Like if you look at those boots the way of dry brush, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these right here, if you've got to do small stuff, the thermal heat shrink wire wraps.
No way.
Yeah, these work great for a lot of stuff. If you remember that...
yeah, like electricity.
I got him.
But what do you use it for your figure?
If you remember this guy, I used it for this.
Oh, hey, there you go.
The cross beam right here. I popped a hole in it, I slid it up there, and then... Actually, I didn't have my hair dryer, so I just took a lighter and ran it back and forth under it until it shrank and it solidified pretty good. Doesn't bend or anything. So I made that crossbar out of that.
Oh, that's sweet. I used to do that.
It's the same piece I cut it from.
So, like, I think that what he's saying is pretty much probably what I would have said is the Gambit. It's going to be all down to the accessories, I think, that he includes. Like if he includes the cards and the rod and the trench coat and the everything, I think it'll be tough to beat for sure.
Yeah. With Gambit, you also got to hit proper era too, because Kenny has never had like the short, like swoosh, like cropped up hair. And Gambit up until like early 2000s never had anything but that. The hair that just popped up over the top of his little cowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they did that later one, I think I keep wanting to say Age of Apocalypse, but I'm thinking I'm not right there, but that's the one that comes to mind. It's just like he's got the classic long flowing hair. Then he's got a pink bandana tied around his neck, ties in the old colors. And then his gear looks really similar to the classic one, but just tweaked a little bit. It's a little more sleek and less bulky. And then he's got the trench coat and the retractable staff and everything like that.
Man.
That's another thing. You want to tie. Not only do you want to tie the superhero to the superstar, but you got to tie the superstar to the guy. So like, you want to keep elements of both in between. You don't want it to just be, I don't know,
a random thrown together thing.
Yeah, you want it to be like, you don't want it to just be like that guy dressed up like the person. You want it to kind of be like they mixed together, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
That's kind of the part that I feel is the weakest on mine. But then at the same time, I'm like, Edge did do a crazy, good wild man type of thing for a while. So I was just like, it'll work.
Yeah, Edge will work. Dolph works perfectly. Fan, you could imagine Dolph as a lantern for sure. Like, what would this dude, like...
That was my thing with the boots. Like, I didn't want to change his boots because I was like, I think it would be cool to keep Ziggler's boots.
Yeah.
And
he's got some of the coolest boots.
The streaks in his hair, everything like that. I wanted to keep that as Ziggler. I didn't want to, like, switch it. So.
What were you using to sculpt? Because I seen you sculpted the mask, too, which is really nice.
I used that terrible, is it Milliput?
Milliput, yeah.
I hate that stuff. But
it waters nice, though.
Yeah, I mean, I took my time with it, and then I had to, like you said in the critique, you said that I should have sanded it, so I took a lot of time sanding it, make sure it got smooth.
It looks like it. It looks great. I was like, damn, man. And masks are hard to do.
Yeah, I took my time on that. That was probably, how last time I submitted my custom, like, in, like, 2 or 3 days, but this time I took all my time, and took everything step by step. So,
and you've seen a huge evolution because of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, this dude, like, look how fast he did this. Imagine what it would have looked like if that, like. Yeah. And it looks. I'm super impressed. I'm super stoked for all of our matchups. I mean, I feel like a total.
I have not to just go like this and show off the custom.
I don't know. I feel like awful as being the person that chose the theme. That I feel like there was a lot of backlash, but I'm like, going forward, at least we got a cool way to pick other cooler themes.
I like this theme a lot because it's not in many people's wheelhouse. I'm thinking, and that's probably what caused the most backlash. It's just like it's so far out their usual comfort zone. They want to buck back, and I'm like, that's the best part. It's gonna make you better because it's out of your comfort zone. Like, I mean, I've made superheroes before, so it's not like a broad stretch, but it's still, I like comic books and everything like that, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going that route.
That's true.
I'm perfectly okay with it.
I didn't even know there was backlash. Who had backlash with it?
I think that there was a general consensus. Some of the feedback we got, I mean, is not in a bad way, but it is very much like stick to wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people want to see wrestlers, I guess, and that's something that's totally understandable. But I wanted to see a really tough custom. Is why I chose it, because I was like inspired by what we talked about last week was like that Chinese chicken, and I was like, man, I'm gonna up my game. Like, let me go crazy. Like, I never even thought about sculpting wrist tape, and I'm like, because I just took it as a given that Mattel paints it. Why should I
use actual real wrist tape on mine?
And I used to do that, and I liked that, but I kind of got complacent because like Mattel kind of sets the bar, unfortunately, and like when you look at it, it's like, okay, even if you hit Mattel's bar, that's still not like. Yeah. Sometimes it's not cool enough. You know what I mean? Like, what would Mattel do if they could do it a little more? And
exactly. I think that's the problem that Showstopper has is that when I was talking about him about doing my Joker Devitt, the mouth paint and the eyeshadow was really messy. And like I was like, he sent me progress pictures. I was like, bro, can you dirty it up a little bit? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, the detail, like the lips and the shadow, is supposed to be kind of dry brush, so it looks like it's fading because that's how. It looks. And he was like, but that's not factory. And I was like, yeah, but I want it to be more detailed. I don't really want it to be, super, super clean. Yeah. So
I did the dry brushing and everything on my Carnage Devitt that I made a while back. Yeah, and like the part that turned out the best was right there on the gum line on that one side. Like it turned out better than I could have ever imagined because I took some tips from another friend of mine who works in 1/18 scale, and he paints the most realistic like faces that I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
it's just like dry brush and layer. And then so what I did is I watered it down, and I got just that nice little bit of gum line, and then just a dab of white highlight on top of that, and it just everything was like. And then instead of a lot of people where the skin is, like right there, the skin and everything's all dry brushed on. Do you have that side picture of the head, Patrick? The one where it's just the head on the side where I did the detail of like that cheek spot?
It's crazy because you can tell
That
what
No, that's earlier. It's like right as I was about to finish. It's the one detail one where you see the teeth and you see the gums.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, that one right there. You
missed
can
it.
see where the gums actually look layered on top of each other.
Jeez, yeah.
That was done with my itty bitty 20-0 brush.
A 20-0.
Mm-hmm.
How much? Where'd you find that? Where the hell did you find that at?
AC Moore.
You should get me one of those.
I'll see if I can. It wasn't too much.
Literally, not even shitty. Like the smallest one I got is a 5, and like
I've
that's the
got-
smallest I've ever needed.
I've got 10 zeros.
But I could do
and
some really
20 zeros.
obnoxious shit with the 20-0 that I would like to do.
But you see, it's like it's not always about looking factory. It's about getting
True.
the detail there.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you can tell a lot of personalities, like what makes him so great. Because like Joey is, you could tell he's very clean, organized, like OCD in the best way, and as a result, like
Yeah.
that's why his paint jobs are like that. But it's
Yeah.
like, for me, I'm like, I like the chaoticness. I like the gritty and dry brush, and I remember like in hindsight, knowing now how great Rocker Jabroni is. I look back at like the old critique videos, and when Rocker Jabroni had his Balls Mahoney, like, and everyone was praising it, and I was praising it, but like I remember saying, I'm like, I wish the denim would have been a little better, and like at that point, I hadn't even done Raven yet. I was just talking kind of not even out of my ass, but like just like from what I would have done, and then after doing so many denim, I'm like, holy shit, like I can really do denim. But that is the process that it plays to my strengths, whereas like a flat color.
It's funny that you say that because when I was watching those critiques, watching them back, I was like, in my head, I was like, he knows what he's talking about because he's done the denim, and little did I not know that you didn't even know about the denim yet. So
I've done it in my head, but I hadn't done it on a figure yet, you know. So I'm like, how am I going to? I know how I'm going to do this Raven, but I haven't done it yet. So it's crazy because you can see too. The more colors you have on something, it really pops out that sculpt. And
now, if we want to go back to the brushes for a second,
yeah, let me see this thing here.
Here's a 10-0.
Jesus.
And here's a 20-0.
Wow.
If
Hold
you
it
can
up a
see
little
it.
higher, please. There you go. To your left. There you go.
Do you see it now?
Yeah.
I think I've picked one of those before, and
Man.
I used it like twice, and I like ruined it, so I need to get a new one.
Yeah, I always ruin my brushes too. I feel like, how do you wash your? What's the proper way to wash the brushes?
If you want to get like one of the best soaps for it, get go to like your art supply store, get the pink soap.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really what the name is. Just pink soap. It comes in a little tiny bottle.
Yeah.
Dab of that in the palm, and then the ridges of your palm when you cup your hand are all the scrubbing that you need, and you just swirl and rinse.
But so like
swirl.
when you're switching between brushes, do you put yours in a cup, like bristle down? Because that's what I do, and it's probably so wrong.
No, I swirl them, get the paint off, wipe and twist to a point, and sit to the side.
Oh, well, that's why my brushes are going to shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some that are framed too. Like so. This what is this one? This is a 2. Yeah. If you want to fix that, there's a couple ways. It's not 100% good. That it'll work. You get a little like dish soap or hand soap, whatever you wash it with, and then you twist it into shape, and then you wrap a wet paper towel around it. And when it dries, it dries shape.
Bookends the brush, kind of tighten it, shapes it.
Yeah.
Huh?
I find myself like I'll dip it in there, and like what you said you like dip it in the cup and you like swirl it around like at the bottom to get it like get all that paint off. Is that what you said, Ed Reaper?
And for me, pretty much what I do. Yeah, is go on the bottom, swirl it around, and then like laid diagonally, and so where I know, like, you know, like the brush is like bent, all twisted against the side of the cup, but I'm like gonna make sure I'm gonna wash them, and inevitably, like, I mess up all my brushes because like my brushes look awful. I'm sure, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, but like when I pull mine out, I'll usually like swirl it around, whatever, and then like to get it back to like the point that I need, I'll just like loop it with my tongue, even though that's gross.
Well, you saw me do that just a second ago with that 20-0.
I do it too, actually.
Yeah, that's like the best way I do it. I was just like how you curl your tongue up like that. That's what I'll do, and then
the other thing I'll do is I'll just go like that, and then.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I only do it before there's paint on there, just because I don't really care about the taste of paint anymore. But I do that. No, it's like funny though, because like I have the worst brush etiquette, but I wish what I wish happened was like, you know, like some of those holes, like plastic with holes, like maybe toothbrush containers you could imagine putting stuff in, or golf tees. Like, I'd imagine like a cup with a middle stage of that, to where you could put the brush in vertically and it could be suspended in water and not actually touching it. So like my little brushes, if I put them inside my cup, I put a clothespin on it, hinge it off the side so it's hanging, but it's not touching the ground.
Yeah, but if you go on to NASCO or Dick Blick, like their art supplies websites, they make special water containers that have brush safe, like brush holders built into them. They're not insanely cheap. It's not like they're expensive, but if you go from like a teaching standpoint, from a teaching standpoint, they're too expensive for school use.
Well,
but for like your own, they're not bad, and they're really nice. They've even got little ridges built inside of them, so you can scrub the brush against the ridges.
Oh, hey, there you go. And that's what I had. I'm using a custom underground mug right now, and that's where I just need to up my shit.
You're using our mug for your paint.
I'm using this.
That's an honor.
I'm using this blue cup, and I don't change the water in it until the water completely evaporates from the cup.
I know, that's the worst too. My decal little water tub gets evaporated, and then there's just like crusty decal film in the bottom of it. I'm like, gross.
It's the worst etiquette ever. I rarely use clean water unless the water's completely evaporated from the cup, and then I'll go put clean water in it.
Yeah, I'm not a clean water guy. I mean, I use a water bottle. I keep clean water around me, but not.
I'm a door away from the bathroom sink, so I've just got to, all right, I'm good, and then right back to the table. The other thing, if you ever have paint dry in the brush really bad and it like completely like solidifies, Murphy oil.
That's right. You said that.
The wood polish,
the gun oil.
Yeah, just let it sit for like overnight, and then you can wash it right out.
I actually got some of that last time I was at that. I went to the shooting range and I got some Murphy gun oil. I just never used it yet.
Yeah, not even the gun oil. This is the stuff for like bar tables, like hardwood, like bar tables, and like.
Yeah, but I seen on another video I watched. So like this is weird. Like I don't want to get off on another too much of a tangent, but like I know I watched a lot of those videos like from those miniature guys, like those airbrush dudes, because like they're insane and they got a lot of cool tips a lot, and like they're dry brushing. So I was watching a tip from them, and I know a couple of them had said like oils like that are really good for hairs, real hairs on your brushes.
Yeah, I like using natural hair brushes more than acrylics and synthetic hairs.
Do you notice a difference?
It's just the way they hold the paint sometimes. I just like the naturals more. I mean, the acrylics and synthetics will last longer, but it's just, honestly, it's preference.
Let's take that preference.
Good.
Yeah.
It's just, I like a natural hair.
So has everybody submitted their work, or are we waiting on we're waiting on a few?
Waiting on
I'm
a
still
lot.
Did you? Yeah. Look at Will's.
Look at it. There's mine.
Yeah. So we have till Sunday the 25th, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have all your customs in. Don't make me hunt you down, because I will, because I'm care and I'm a nice guy. But going back to the theme really briefly, we try to find themes that we think will challenge everybody, but at the same time be fun and creative. So that's kind of why this theme came to be, and from almost all of our contestants, they thought it was a good idea, but some viewers didn't like it as much, so it is what it is.
So was it really? I cannot believe that people really got upset about that. That's crazy to me.
I think well, I think it depends on like what I've seen. This is the most politically nice answer I've seen. What I've seen is some tremendous fan support from their customizers, and some of them are super vocal. So I think it depends on the customizer's style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think My Damn Toys, you do that every month. So like your guys are like stoked on it. You know what I mean? They'd be like, he's gonna kill this. Other people are like, you're screwing us. You know what I mean? Like, it's people.
Well, you could say that about my first round. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
MDT's never done that before. So you know what I'm saying? So I guess it's like, I don't know. Like, I guess you just got to roll with the punches and get
that's what I always say.
You give us. You got to take.
You're always going to favor somebody.
Yeah, you got to take what they give us and then work with your skill set to make the best custom you can. That's the competition.
That's just what it comes down to. I think you nailed it. Is competition and the desire to compete, which, you know, like, all of us are doing that, and God knows, like, hopefully for some tournament we can reverse the roles so Joey and I can compete.
World Cup.
Because I'd love to, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, dude, I would have done a Captain Planet right now. I'm not even kidding you. Green mullet, Sting, for sure.
That'd be perfect. I've seen some great, like, 1/18 scale Captain Planets made with the boss fight hacks figures, especially the ice blue ones that are halfway see-through.
I've always wanted one, man. Like, I watched last episode of the podcast, and when you said that, I was like, damn, I wish I could, like, intervene and talk to him about that, because I like, love Captain Planet. So.
I know. I'm like, I might actually do it, because I was just, like, looking at Sting, and I was like, dude, with this mullet, like, this is pretty much the most acceptable thing you could do with his hair. So,
yeah.
I mean, that or Nasty Boys. Maybe I should do Brian Knobs as Captain Planet.
That'd be fat Captain Planet. Did they do a mulleted Shawn Michaels? I feel like
the Network Spotlight.
Oh, yeah, they did, huh?
Yeah, if you were to if his mullet's removable, that one would probably be a choice.
If his mullet was.
It's right here. I don't think it's removable though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd have to cut it and like mold it, but
it needs a little more of a flat top.
It actually is removable.
Oh wow!
So I mean, if you could, you know, play around with it, I'm sure it could work.
You could probably just like sculpt up around the sides and then spike it a little bit, and without even doing anything extra, make the flat top.
Because like it looked best like with someone's head like Randy Orton or John Cena, like someone who's like very straight laced.
You gotta have that square chin.
Ridiculous like mullet ever. Like I want it party in the back for sure.
Who even owns the rights?
Who even owns what?
Who owns the rights to Captain Planet?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, I was thinking about toy lines I would have loved to revived, and like amongst them would be like the Tick and like a couple like heroes like the Shadow. Like I loved the Shadow, even though it was a shitty movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like those old ones, and so I was like Inspector Gadget, and then Captain Planet. I think that was probably a toy creation first, or was it a TV show on its own?
Captain Planet was a TV show first.
Was it? So it was like one of the first of that type of thing, because like the 80s, right? We get He-Man and G.I. Joe, which is the other way around.
They're toy commercials.
It must be Nickelodeon then that owns the rights, right? Because wasn't it on Nickelodeon or something?
I thought it was on Cartoon Network.
Well, Captain Planet, I feel like it started off on like one of the classic networks, like CBS or.
You're right. It was on.
Yeah, it was TBS.
Because it was right around Biker Mice. That'd be another line I want to revive.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Biker Mice.
Biker Mice and Street Sharks.
Street Sharks would be pretty sweet. All the Ninja Turtles clones.
Yeah, pretty much every ripoff of the Ninja Turtles. Like, so we're talking about sharks, mice.
Oh man, there were so many, so many. I would like to see the Tick brought back. I like the Amazon show, but I really don't like who they chose to play the Tick.
I know.
It just didn't work for me.
And he's such a good actor. He's just not physically.
Warburton was the best live action choice for the Tick.
Tell me that's not John Cena's head sculpt right there.
Oh my god! Look at that.
Is.
Look at that.
Like you could eat. I feel like it'd be pretty easy. I think.
Actually, what WWE should do is just acquire the rights to it and make their own movie with John Cena in the lead role, and like go legit though. Go like try to take itself seriously.
I think he's too short.
John Cena.
Okay, so since you asked, Turner Broadcasting owns the rights to Captain Planet, and along with Warner Brothers, and the Turner family has rights to use Captain Planet in any of their environmental programs that they deem necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, so right. I don't think WWE will ever get a hold of that. There's probably still some bad blood.
So he's pretty much just like a environmentalist propaganda.
Yeah,
superhero.
100%. Early '90s. Hey, let's recycle and go over the top with it.
Earth, wind.
He's still dope though. Like I always loved the theme song too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like got a metallic body and rocks a green mullet. Like that's.
His hair is grass.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
But I want to see. I guess just somebody take some WWE elites and just do some random off the wall like different superheroes that maybe aren't mainstream or DC or Marvel, and just do like Powdered Toast Man as well.
Oh man,
I thought about doing Powdered Toast Man. I did.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make Captain Planet. John Cena.
Right now, I'm mixing Marvel Legends and the Elite figures to make a Road Pig from G.I. Joe.
No way.
Yeah. The only downside is I've got to do some work on the sockets because the Marvel hip peg is smaller than the socket in the Elite leg by just a little bit, and so he's all wobbly.
Also. Since everybody's already talked about what they're gonna do and nobody can steal the idea now, I was like this close to trying a Braun Strowman Hulk, and I was gonna do I was gonna do like ripped up pants, like barefoot, like I was gonna sculpt muscles, I was gonna do it all, but then I was like, that probably is for a different. I would
have gone TV Hulk with him. Done more of like the Lou Ferrigno, like
that's so sweet though. Like,
and maybe do like some people do with the fur and the hair if you want to get it real bad. So like use like the cotton like I did with the mask on my last figure, and then just tease it out so you get that wild looking Hulk hair that he had in the TV series.
Yeah,
dude, Braun would have been insane. That would have been a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was like, I don't know. With Biondo, I probably need to stick to my strengths, not try too much sculpting, and
yeah, I mean, his beard would have been crazy. Like he would have looked like a green Braun. But it would be so cool to see him as the Hulk. Like if you thought about the possibility, it would have been like, oh man.
So if you're watching this show, tweet Braun and tell him what you want him to dress up for Halloween as.
Or Bane. It would have been cool to see him as Bane.
Yeah, I'll when I go home over the summer, I'll talk to his dad.
Or you guys could. Oh yeah, that's right. He's a Carolinian.
My dad, his dad are tight.
Well, what was his face too? Not Braun, but he could also be Bane. I mean,
old Bane would be solid.
Braun as Bane. Bane would have been pretty cool. Or like Johnny Mundo could have been Winter Soldier. Did you guys see that fan film of him? Like,
oh yeah, that'd be dope.
It's so sweet. So like, there's this company called Bad in the Sun Productions. They make fan films of like superhero beatdown, which is like Captain America versus Batman, or like crazy stuff like that. And Johnny Mundo was the Winter Soldier for one of them, and he was Casey Jones, I think, for one of them too. And he looked so badass as both of them. I was like,
that'd be dope.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Especially like he would look way better than Casey Jones ever did. Like he would be.
Yeah, he would be a perfect Casey Jones.
Yeah,
I like Casey Jones a lot.
See, yeah, no, it was sweet though. You guys got to check it out. I like Johnny Mundo though. Like,
yeah, I'm a big John Morrison fan. I love him.
Well, my friend Mad Reaper, you know what we failed to do?
make a shorter episode this week.
Yes. We sort of failed on that, but...
You know I talk a lot.
Well,
What are we at right now?
It's 1 hour, 50 minutes.
Doesn't feel like it. Or,
It doesn't feel like it, but this is the turmoil of every Thursday. Well, I hope it was a fun pre-show at least. I mean, and people are listening to it.
I'm pretty stoked about all the stuff that we'll see when it comes out, and I'm just hoping that all my repair work on that yellow goes smoothly.
I'm stoked. I'm hoping to have the pictures up as soon as I could. If I could do it Sunday night, I would. But and I probably could. Hopefully we don't have any no-shows this time, which I don't think so. So I'm good.
Fingers crossed.
But the scoring going forward and then the choosing of it will make for a much interesting season when we get to 3. So that will be cool.
Yeah, I'm liking that possible idea that MDT brought up earlier with the more or less just brawl for all style.
Yeah, and that's what it was, like a flash challenge, like a short challenge that would give you an advantage, and not necessarily immunity. But what if you could choose what custom of all the other customizers were doing, right?
I would think it would be nice. You get the flash challenge to make an accessory, and then if you win, everyone else has to incorporate that accessory into some sort of figure that they do.
Oh man, there's a cosplay show on Sci-Fi that was like that. You like their initial challenge that was like the eliminator to see who would move on to the show. You start off with the weapon. It was a weapon, and then from that you had to create the character around the weapon if you moved on in the next round. But you had to roll it in. But I mean, and that's what it was. Like I envision this as like the custom master. You know what I mean? Like to me, the winner of this custom tournament is the person that put together all of the customs for this tournament round. And because it is such a custom by custom type thing, you know what I mean? It's your chance to fling it all out there and
next
not
week
have any
on
worries.
Custom Masters.
So Custom Masters was kind of what I thought it as, and
you can make it Big Master.
Something that I can also
Big
use
Master.
for next time, if you can see it halfway.
Oh wow!
Itty bitty, brawn-like head, G.I. Joe scale.
Oh wow!
I think it came from one of the Hobbit figures.
Oh yeah, that looks like a dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but
one of the.
It's about dead on for what you'd need.
But for the Fig Master, or Custom Master or whatever, I guess it would be like you guys would have to come up with the Flash Challenge. You, Showstopper, and Pat would have to come up with the Flash Challenge. We do the Flash Challenge in like a week's time, maybe even shorter, just because you want to get the custom round started. And I would say the turnaround time would have to be faster than, what is it now, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
It would need to be. Yeah, it would need to be faster than that, in my opinion. I guess
you could do LBCs, you could do accessories, anything like that, and knock the turnaround to like a week and a half tops, and that's twice as fast, and then that makes people think on their feet.
Do you think that would be cooler than like as opposed to like a live time? Like that's kind of why we wanted this 4-way too, to see what the capability was. Apparently Skype said it can go up to 25 people. We didn't know if it could do 4. But I was thinking it's something maybe even real time. That was like, okay, you guys got 10 minutes to come up with your most creative version, your ideal, and it's kind of like a pitch of Finn Balor or whatever, you know what I mean? And that is one of the things, but I don't think that it's not fleshed out, but you know what I mean? I was thinking of something maybe that you could do real time, like in a 5 to 10 minute time span. But do you guys think maybe something that you can go back and be like a couple days, 3 days with or something, come back with, and now have something, and now you're kind of going along the process of starting then, so that way you kind of have a little bit of time at least to have a break, maybe?
I would think it would be like, I don't know, you guys give us the Flash Challenge. You have 5 days to complete it. You give us the theme. You could even make a post. If you needed me to make it, I could make it too. I could make it in, like a graphic with text on it. Everybody that's in the tournament turns on custom underground post notifications. There's no BS. There's no, well, I didn't see the post. If you have notification settings on, then you know it's posted. You click it. Once you post the rules, they read it. They have the deadline, have to submit it. You guys pick a winner like in 24 hours. Then the winner's notified to pick a theme. And then...
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I like that. Because that does give you more time than two to kind of flesh out something. And if it's like a hit scan or something, right? Like something that we could put together in 3 days or something. Now you're showing the hit scan. And now if we go ahead and end up kind of like creating it that way, I mean, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, either you could commit on that hit and build the body to that hit, or you could just use that hit as an exercise and something that's easy enough to where the rest of the customizers are going to be like on board enough to bite. You know what I mean? Because I would be like, well, what's my motive? And you didn't see it yet, MDT, but the first half of the show we did announce that the prize so far for this tournament is $200, which very likely to increase like it did last tournament to 300. But you know, and that was one of my motivators, because I was like, man, I forgot that I didn't say that. I just assumed in my head that it was going to be like last tournament.
Yeah.
But if we could figure out something where it's not a lot of investment, like maybe even a custom championship would be cool. You know what I mean? But that's why I don't want it just to feel like it's me, Pat, or Showstopper, because like, quite frankly, I feel super manipulative whenever I'm thinking of even a theme. You know what I mean? That's why I felt really crazy, or like really evil actually after the last one, because I was like, like I felt like Mr. Burns, you know. I was like, God damn it, man! Like I didn't mean to.
Well, that's dumb because like it's y'all had the initial idea. It's y'all's competition. What y'all say goes. I mean, you watch Ink Master. I forget his name, but the lead dude. You know, they don't take
Navarro,
yeah, Navarro, and then Rodriguez. Is that his last name?
Yeah, Chris.
No, Chris. Regardless, you have him, and then you have Ali. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So you have them three. You know, they don't take any bullshit, and they like
Oliver Peck.
You know, they're like, well, I didn't have that much time, and they're like, you still got to do better than that. That's terrible.
Right.
So like, if you don't want a bunch of pussies as the competitors, like
that's true.
Like, but
well, especially if you're doing a tattoo on someone, that's pretty permanent.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, I think it would be y'all guys decide the Flash Challenge, and then the winner of the Flash Challenge has to tie that, I guess, accessory or whatever into the. I see what you're saying, like, because the Flash Challenge always ties into the tattoo that they're going to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could also alternate. You know, sometimes it doesn't need to be completely related at all, and then other times it could be like, you know, create a masked head sculpt or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm down for anything, but I don't know. It'd be really cool to take it. Like, I guess if you made it that big, you could make it to where this competition goes freaking 3 or 4 months. And that could include 12 people or whatever, and one gets knocked off every 2 weeks. Then you know what I'm saying? It would draw it out.
That's true. Or it could make it go. Well, if you knock off someone at the end of a Flash Challenge, and then you knock off someone at the end of an elimination round, or would you not knock off someone on a Flash Challenge? You would just have them with a disadvantage, right?
Yeah, like the Flash Challenge, like the Flash Challenge is more of like an enhancement to the winner, not really not somebody else.
So it's like a bonus advantage. I mean, I'm trying to describe it. I mean, because I've seen it and I've watched it. So, yeah, no, that's the way we could do it. So, like, the person that ends up winning it has, like, the power and kind of, like, let's say you won a concept, right? And you won a Flash Challenge. You could literally go up to, like, whoever you deem to be the biggest threat and go ahead and be like, hey, Chargrove, this is who you're making. You know what I mean? And,
exactly.
If the fans had given this name and it was up as a choice, then that would be cool to see. Or the customizers. Let's do that. Let's have the customizers go out a name, but then it'd be one to where now they know It could be given to them. It could be given to someone else. It could be whoever knows, because it's going to be like the skulls, right? Like on Ink Master, what happens is the guy that wins grabs the skull, and the skull has the bottom of whoever person you need a tattoo, right?
And they give it to that
comes with their own design. So that person grabs a skull and then hands a skull to, let's say, if I wanted to screw Will, I'm going to be like, okay, you're doing a Viscera figure. You know what I mean? Exactly. And if I wanted it really easy, I would be like, I'm going to keep The Rock. But then knowing, like, if I do The Rock and I kill it, but it's still super not complicated enough, you know what I mean? Like, super simplified, I don't have my advantage, or my advantage kind of doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm like the Beast and I'm number one and I'm the one that won the Flash Challenge, now I could coast on by, not necessarily with immunity, but like I could totally stack the deck in my favor.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it, I suppose, and I think we're going to do that way going forward. It's just tough because there's a lot of good ideas.
Also, you could make Pat like the overall guy, and then you could have Team Showstopper and Team Mad Reaper. You know how they did that one season.
Make Pat the real Dave Navarro.
Yeah. And you see what I'm saying? Like, you remember they had Team Peck versus Team Olive?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was?
Oh,
or
man.
Team Peck versus Team...
You're freaking
whatever.
me out now.
Yeah, you could do some dope stuff.
That should be the World Cup season, actually. It should be a Team North America versus Team Europe. And just say, you know, like the Filipino guys are all super talented, but like there's a lot scattered. You know, we got a couple guys in Australia now, we got a couple guys in England, and we could very well have a World Cup. But it would be pretty epic too to be like 2 teams of 8 people from North America and 8 people from not North America to compete against each other.
I mean, you could do that, and then you could have the same rules as the Ink Master thing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And so, like, the team could lose like 3 members in a row, and they'd be down 8-5. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like,
we could literally have it to where like all 8 of us are still going, and it's just Showstopper and Rock and Jabroni.
Exactly. Yeah, like that could happen based on
feel the grip clenching around them as they struggle to.
And if I'm not competing in a future season, I would love to do judging or whatever.
Well, you're either going to be competing or doing judging for sure. I can say that because we're going to need a lot of Team America. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. We're really glad you guys got to join us here. Hope to not, you guys got lucky. You guys got to eat first. I didn't eat yet. So, MDT didn't eat yet either. So,
nope.
Damn it, Will, you're lucky.
I'm sorry.
Well,
blame Will.
I got the East Coast advantage. All it is.
God damn it! It's like Stranger Things. You can be Will in there. That's been all from this episode. This whole episode has been recorded, and I will cut out a couple bits, and you guys have seen that. But for the most part, this is pretty raw.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it.
Thank you guys. What?
I said I enjoy it. Last time was fun too.
Yeah, sorry, it was awkward. I was kind of leading up because Pat always does the closeouts, and it's so crazy because like last week we jumped into everything and he like blew the whole surprises like within the first 30 seconds. So we were just sitting there like, oh, okay. So now I was looking at him to be like, hey, let's do your closeout because he's like, I'm the real chosen one. That is the Mad Reaper. See you guys next time. And that's his shtick.
That's it.
Did it. Go ahead, you can do it. In the version of Alex
Trebek. I am the real chosen one. That's the Mad Reaper. That's my damn toys. That's Creature Will. We have come to you, and it has been a pleasure. We will see you next week, as always.
See you guys later.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.
Custom Underground.